Rolling. Okay. Welcome to the night before of the Ironman UK Bolton. Now, first of all, this is not performance enhancing drugs. It would definitely not be performance enhancing drugs. It's also not Class A's. It is Humana, just in case anyone's wondering. Just clear that up. As I sniffle for hay fever. This is Matthew, my little compadre. Introduce yourself.
I'm Matthew, probably the better looking out of the two, so...
Best chat-up line?
Best chat-up line. So I don't use chat-up lines.
Okay.
Don't know when you're this good looking, so...
Greatest achievement apart from being friends with me?
Greatest achievement, beating you at the first ever... First ever Murph.
Okay.
Considerably as well. Wasn't even by an inch, it was by a mile.
On that note, first question. We did a Q&A on Instagram. Are you a grower? XOXO. That was the first question. Anyway, we're going to swing by that. This is, obviously, on a more serious note, we signed up for the Ironman UK Bolton together, the full distance, on January the 12th. I think I checked my WhatsApps before. Then you know the crack about me doing like half of one before, half of one after, all of that, but the focus was always today, at least tomorrow. First of all, we're very much hoping we're going to finish.
Definitely will.
So that is the key. I think people are probably, especially for me being online and being a sort of influencer, fucking whatever you want to call it, like being in the public eye, people keep on asking us what my time's going to be. I don't think you realise I've never done one of these before. Never rode a bike like it's a bike other than a mountain bike until the end of January. Anyway, we're going to get into the questions. So, put you on the spot. What nutrition do you use in a race and in training? Let's go for race first, because it's quite interesting.
Well, we've got the Stroop waffles that we're using. Mine's mainly SIS gels, and those Cliff blocks, those energy blocks were spot on, to be fair. Nice variation.
So, we pretty much, it's kind of based off per hour, and per hour what you're moving and body weight. We're not miles apart, so like I'm like 96, 97 kilos at the minute. Matty's 92. Pretty much need anywhere from 80 grams of carbs to 100 grams of carbs per hour. Probably going to be moving for 12 to 14 hours. 13 hours is probably like what would realistically like around that marker. So you just add it up and try and divide it by gels, carb powders, electrolytes, and trying to make sure that, I think the main thing that people have mentioned to us, I don't know about you, you can see yours after, but mine is like, do not get hungry on the bike, because if you are hungry before you start the run, there's no way you're getting through that run.
Same with your hydration as well. If you're thirsty and it's too late, it's always way too late.
Yeah. Like when I was on the 70.3 like 2 weeks ago, I was watching people who'd done Ironmans and obviously had the tattoo who couldn't finish, and there's no reason why it was fitness levels unless it was years and years and years ago. It must have just been because it was 27.5 degrees. It must have been because they messed up the nutrition, and that can make or break someone. Doesn't matter who you are. Right. I want to do an Ironman 70. I want to do an Ironman tactics ? Do I need to do a 70.3 first? So two sides of the coin, but to be honest, yours was probably just for work reasons, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I did a 70.3 because I wanted to make a little bit of a, to be honest, it was good for marketing to say doing 3 things in 5 weeks, because I wanted to try and bring as much exposure to the Marie Curie as possible, but you don't need to do that. I don't think you would need to do a 70.3. I think we could have done one at home, personally, but I did like the fact of, it gets you used to like 100 people at once going in the water, rather than like you can practice. We practiced in a lake on Thursday night, but there was only 4 of us and like a couple of dads, people were new. You're not getting like that 3, 2, 1 go feeling of like you'll see it tomorrow. Like it is a bit of a shock sometimes. And then I don't really know anything to add to that.
No, I mean, I've not done anything. This is my first ever endurance event, so for me, like you say, it was because of work, but it would probably help to do something on the build-up, just to get used to that whole transition and
practicing the logistics of it as well.
Yeah, that's a big thing actually, the logistics.
I'm just dying. Anyway, what's the number one thing you are most worried about?
The run.
The run? Why?
The run for me, not my strongest point.
Stopping, not finishing. Pace.
It's more to do with getting into it from the bike, because you've got quite a long bike, and obviously with my back and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I'm most worried about. It's quite intense.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest shocks when you do this sort of training, when we first started doing it, and our brick sessions became more frequent later down the prep, but at the start it was only on Saturdays we did brick. You don't understand the feeling of how bad it is when you get off a big bike into a run, and I would say the first 5k is actually the worst. So
just getting in the rhythm of things.
Yeah, my biggest brick session is obviously doing 90 kilometers on the bike into 13 miles on the run, and that first 3 miles, that first 5k is the worst out of all of it, because it's just you're flushing them out in a different sort of movement pattern. You're going from being really, really quad dominant on the bike to being like quad and hamstring dominant. It's just a weird feeling and a weird sensation. I remember the first time I did it, like even back like over a year and a half ago, with someone else who was training for triathlon, not even me, and I was just like hit by a bus. It's very, very different. What am I most worried about? Mine, I would say, would be the bike, because I know the course is, for me, swimming's my strongest. I would say running's probably number 2, which I would never thought in a million years that would be me saying this, but I think the run scared is so much that I made that better. And then the bike generally, because it's been quite apparent from the number of messages, because the next question on here is, are you aware of how tough the Bolton bike course is, and have you done anything similar in training? That is the case. So I've heard that Bolton is pretty much I've looked at the newspaper article there and it says it's the hardest one in the world. So I think there's pretty much like it's in the top 5 for the most elevation for going up and down. So that would be for me, just because I'm a heavier athlete and I find the hills pretty rough. How much extra training do you do for Ironman in comparison to what we did before? So how much did you do before? What would you say normal week is?
Averaging at least an hour and a half.
Hour and a half a day.
For about 5-6 days a week.
Yeah, so I think when I've been in my best shape, from what yous have seen, because obviously you probably follow me online, 5 days a week or 6 days a week's enough, 90 minutes a day, easy.
Yeah.
A little bit of strength training, a little bit of hypertrophy bodybuilding, and a little bit of conditioning every single day. Push, pull, legs, upper, lower, or just like functional fitness sort of style. Big lift at the start, loads of bodybuilding, and then a big condition session. The sculpt classes, 5 sculpt classes a week, all of them things have made me look the best. I would say that the difference with this is you are doing 4 strength sessions a week if you want to cling on to as much as possible like we did. Then it drops down to 3 after like 3 months. Then it drops down to 1 once you're like the last month of the prep, because we wanted to cling on to strength. We've only done 1 full body strength workout for the last 4 weeks now, which is really annoying. And then you're doing 2 swim sessions a week, if not 3. You're definitely doing 3 bikes. I'm putting 4 fingers up there. 3 bikes, 4 finger shuffle. And then you are definitely doing, I would say that we're running probably went from 2 to 3 after the second half.
Yeah, and everything gradually gets a bit longer as well.
Yeah, you're going from pretty much like 6 to 7 hours of training a week, if you added it up, to 15 hours.
Easy.
Yeah. What are you going to eat before? Well, I mean, we're up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, aren't we?
Porridge pots.
Porridge pots, maybe a little bit of banana, and then everything else for the full day is pretty much going to be liquid based or gel based, and then just little snacky things that we're trying to get used to. So we've been having these Stroop waffles all day, try and get used to them. We've got a Snickers, we've got a few little different daft things, like little snacky things, Grey's flapjack, stuff like that. What is the discipline you enjoy the most? For me it's the swim, because I'm good at it. Yours?
Bike, clearly.
He's the bike boy.
And the what? Like what?
The bike boy, the bike nonce.
And so on.
Right. I feel like what's your training split? We've already answered that. Actually no, I haven't really answered the training split. So Mondays, pretty much at the start when we wanted to cling on to strength, was lower body strength, so squats, deadlifts, lunges, split squats, and quick running intervals but shorter session. Tuesday was at the start.
An upper session, wasn't it?
Upper and swim.
Upper.
Wednesday was double try day, when it was, what did we do in the morning? Or bike in the morning when it was the Concept 2 or Zwift session.
Yeah.
Evening was the hardest running session. The running session on Wednesday nights was so bad. It was like, so think like if we comfortably run at 5 minute pace per kilometre, it would, can you remember that it was like 8 minutes, 8 minutes at 4 minute kilometres, 2 minutes rest for round after round after round. So it was like 50 minutes of basically 8 minutes as hard as you can, 2 minutes recovery. That was probably
hands down the least favourite sessions.
They were the
shadow of a doubt.
But I've never been so good at running because of them sessions. Thursday was just a swim.
Yeah.
Friday was back to full body strength, and then Saturday was always brick, and Sunday was rest. So that was it. So Thursday was like an active recovery, just a big ass swim day. Still tough, and then Sunday was full rest. And the last question, which we're going to wrap this video up with, was life, training, nutrition, anything. What has the hardest part of the Ironman prep been? And that question is from Mr. Michael Henderson, who we know very well.
Yes, yeah. Hardest part?
Hardest part of the Ironman prep. I'm going to go with the most simple one. Oh, and there's another question which I want you to answer after this. But the hardest part of the Ironman prep for me has been organising life around it. Organising the logistics of it. So I don't think you can comprehend how working 10 to 12 hours a day on multiple businesses, trying to do new businesses, trying to fit in 3 hours of training a day and do mobility so you don't get injured and have a life and fail at having a girlfriend and do all of them things and try and like have the energy to like be nice to even your family and your friends is fucking hard. Like I think that is one of the main things that people underestimate. Like on Wednesdays we were spending take a Saturday. On Saturdays we were spending 4 hours doing a brick session. Sometimes I was doing a 4-hour work shift because we're under on staff. Then like trying to like actually recover. Then do mobility. Then like Saturday night, so you were trying to like at the start when we're early doors, trying to go out with your friends and be the sober one in the corner and like be the one who's like mingling. And I think the hardest part is like it's meant to be hard though. Like there's a reason why not everyone does this. But the hardest part for me is trying to fit it into day-to-day life. Some of the Mondays and Tuesdays when I was busy at work, I definitely told you I was like I can't even like speak to you because I'm like fucking up to here. And then like when we trained, that was the time I like it was actually nice because like you get it out your system. It's like it is literally iron therapy. Hardest part for you?
To be honest with you, the nutrition side of things, trying to keep it on the food. I'm quite lucky in that.
Yeah, good one for you though. Can you make this work around a proper 9 to 5 job or a full-time job?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the question. I think that's probably one of your hardest things.
Yeah, with me because I'm 3 weeks away, 3 weeks home. It's quite limited to what you can do when you're working away, but you can still train and maintain.
Yeah.
For all I'm working 12-hour shifts, sometimes it pushes up to 14 hours. You can still train, you just take days off and things like that.
Yeah, so for context for the video, Matty works 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off for the ship. But like I think what you did really, really well from what I saw with you is when we were both at home, we doubled down on your training.
Yeah.
So we would like make sure that we crammed as much training in, and then when you were away for your 3 weeks, because you only get an hour a day.
Yeah, about
like
an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like that was like, I might not get better, but I can at least cling on. And then as soon as you came back, like you were sometimes doing triple session days, weren't you?
That was horrendous. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But
you can do it. It is possible. Hopefully, we'll find out tomorrow. Time is currently 6:27. We are going to go down, chill, probably bang some more food in, and
standard.
See you on the other side. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Give Matty a shout out. Be nice to him. Comment below if you think he is really the ultimate bike dad. Nonce. Look at them Birkenstocks. I've actually got them as well. I love them. But and yeah, over and out for now. See you on the other side. Peace and love.